You know what time it is. It's time for this Alaskan State Championship game playing in Washington State Arena to be exact, playing this Homer team from Homer, Alaska, I'm assuming. And it's a battle of the powerhouses, let's be honest here. Football high school, it's taken the title for the past few years, and I know Homer's going to want to take that away from me. But we got Mr. Gunnar Gaines, and he's not going to let that happen. Not so easily, anyway. But with that said, I've had this game for a little while longer, and I've been able to kind of learn some of the things that you can do and you can't do. I'm getting a little bit better throwing the ball, but there are still some things that really just problems with the game and don't quite work like you would expect them to. Unlike this wide receiver middle screenplay, don't get it to work very often, but when it does, it can go the distance, especially when you have a speedy wide receiver like I do in this number 81. This would be something I would majorly look for when I'm choosing what college to go to. I'll have a little bit more about that at the end of the video, but I want somewhere where I've got some awesome wide receivers and at least a serviceable offensive line. But I'll continue playing and continue finding this number 81 receiver. He's really been my go-to guy and my number one receiver pretty clearly and pretty obviously, but got to get the tight end involved a little bit. Sometimes you have a receiving tight end, sometimes you have a blocking one. It's just a matter of determining which one he is and if you should really be passing to him or using him more as a substitution blocker on the end of the line. But you'll see I'm trying to stay in the pocket a little bit better. I think I'm doing a pretty decent job, but that doesn't always mean that you're going to make the pass and not get sacked. As you saw, a man got in there and got the penalty here. Man jumps offside, so I know I've got an open play. Throw a very dangerous pass, one I probably wouldn't have thrown if there wasn't a penalty. And then throwing this disgusting interception. You'll see a play like this happen at least 2 or 3 times a game where the linebacker jumps out of his pants and makes the interception. So I'm throwing a lot of short routes, and you'll see me audibling to slant routes pretty often, much like I did right here. Slant routes is pretty OP and pretty easy to use. And another thing I noticed is my player right now does not have very much arm strength. I've tried to go downfield on numerous occasions and usually end up getting picked off. So I'm throwing a lot more short routes, a lot more slant routes, just because it's one of the only passes I can currently make. And even when the middle of the line opens up a little bit, I take it for the run. Now obviously I'm not a running quarterback, but if they open up the middle of the line like they did right there, I'm going to take it and hopefully take it for a few yards. I clearly don't have a whole lot of speed or a whole lot of stamina to do that on every single play. But when the middle of the line opens up, there's not a whole lot of energy being wasted. So I can take it for a few yards and just slide down and do what I can. And once again, a little bit more amazing coverage by the linebackers, and you'll see this quite a bit. So far, that's one of the biggest beefs I have with the game is the interception ratio, how many interceptions the defense comes up with. Gets a little out of control, and then those middle linebackers just making ridiculous plays. But you'll see I'm driving on them here. We are a little bit before halfway through the second quarter. Got a 7-point lead. Trying to work the ball inside. My man drops it. It's a 3rd and inches. Got to go with my go-to play, the slant routes. Doesn't quite open up. We've got some linebackers playing deep. I see the nose guard gets blocked a little bit to the left, and that gives me a big opening as the other tackle goes to the right. So I've got a large running lane, which I will execute on. But now with time winding down in the second half, I'm trying to steal a few extra points here. But how about a giant running play? Some amazing downfield blocks by my wide receivers. Number 81 knocks the guy down, gets back up, blocks him again. I will slide down. We will take a timeout, and I made it all the way down the field. Now looking for my man across the middle. That route didn't quite develop like it was supposed to. We've got 2 guys sitting right next to each other on the pass. But continuing to draw these guys off sides, giving me an easy first down and hopefully an easy touchdown. Right here, man gets hit right as he makes the catch, but still holds on to the ball. And I get another offsides call, which I will happily decline as I accept the touchdown. And playing a little bit of defense here still. This is my only good play on the defense, though. Getting off the block and making the play in the backfield. I don't do too much outside of this on the defensive end, unlike I did in that other game where I had 11 tackles. I think that was my only one. But it seems like I have a lot more quarterback skills than I have linebacker skills, and you'll see that as I get picked up on almost every single block. But that's okay, because when the scouts are looking at me, I'm looking to play a little bit more quarterback, hopefully taking not too many of those kind of hits. The linebacker blitzes and comes in and gives me a nice shot as I try to get the pass off. But here in high school, you'll see me almost cheesing the slant routes a little bit just because I don't have the arm strength or the accuracy to throw anything else outside of the slant play. And hopefully when I develop, I'll be able to throw more of these deep routes and not check down to my running backs so often. But when I go downfield, I'm going to have to expect a lot of interceptions because I can't adjust the sliders like I did in my Dynasty that I started. Adjusted it so that they pick off a fewer portion of the balls that get tipped. And once again, finding a little bit more space on the run, sliding down to get the extra yards and not take the hit. But with the second string running back, I'm trying to run it in a little bit, get him out on the pitch play, but some more missed blocks. And another beef that I have with NCAA game is missed blocks. They do happen in real life, but it seems like the higher the difficulty, the more blocks that are just completely whiffed upon and nothing really gets there. And you see this in a lot of games that have this sort of my player, road to glory, where you're a single player playing with a team around you. When you move the difficulty up, they make your players and your teammates worse, rather than just making it more difficult, making the computer play better. And I don't know if that's just something that's inherently wrong with the system, the whole you're one player and you have a bunch of computer players, or if it's something a little deeper than that. But I still do have a lot of fun with the game, and a lot more fun actually on the Dynasty mode. And that brings me to my next point. I will be starting a Dynasty in this game mode. I already have a team that I think I'm going to use. I'm sure a couple of you may be able to guess that. But the entire prospect of recruiting players and making your team better every single year is just a really fun idea for me. I'll continue playing this Road to Glory and kind of seeing some of the changes that they've made. I know they made a ton of changes when you actually get to college and trying to fight for a starting position. But we'll cross that bridge when I get there. And playing a little bit more defense, or I guess not playing defense because all of these passes are going somewhere else. Not able to rack up too many tackles or too many pass deflections, but still fun to have a little change of pace in the game. Now I'm trying to run a deep route here with my number 81 receiver. He runs the route pretty decently, but I see another huge opening, and I have to take these when I can get them. I'm not going to be running too much, especially when I get to college, unless there's all of these huge openings, which I highly doubt. But now looking downfield and finding my man who's running a crossing route, and a lot of these crossing routes open up pretty late, so you're kind of at the will of your offensive line, waiting and hoping that they will cover their blocks for the entire time that it takes for the route to open up. But driving once again with about 3 minutes left in this third quarter. One more slant route for good measure, and finding the end zone once again. This will be the end of my high school career as they take me out of the game, blowing out this team in the Alaska High School Championship. Maybe if I'd gone somewhere like Texas or California, there would have been a little bit more competition, but you never know. 200 recruiting points here. You can see my season total. I picked up that 5-star as a quarterback, only a 4-star as a middle linebacker. But this basically gives me a lot of different options on where I want to go and a lot of scholarship opportunities. You can see all of those right here. These are the scholarship opportunities that I've picked up across my high school career. Take a look at these and tell me what you want. I'm telling you, I like Arkansas a lot. I like Wisconsin a lot. A&M's got a great team with a solid defense. But let me know what you guys think about that. Hope you enjoyed this video. See ya!